Hey y'all, it's Steve, Hobo with Wood. In this video, I'm going to show you how'd you do that? Or how did I do that? I created a pattern on a design in the live stream, and people have been emailing going, hey, how'd that work? How'd that happen? So we're going to take a look at how I created this wood grain looking crosshatch pattern. Just hang around. This is going to be an informative how-to. So this is the design that I worked on. I redesigned this. It's actually rehashed from a file last year. One of the viewers, Stacy, reminded me about it, and I was like, yeah, that was nice, but it needed a little work. It was too fragile. It had some problems. So I went in and I actually reworked this during a live stream, and I kind of sort of explained how I made this wood stake bed, but I didn't go into detail because things were getting long as it was, and I could talk all night. We know that by now. So I thought I'd do a quick video just specifically showing how I did this design in the stake bed. It's not going to show up good on the camera, so I'm going to jump over here and show you a close-up in the photographs on how this looks, and you'll understand better. And then what I had to do to create this effect. It'll come in useful in several different designs. So let's go look at the website and see how that shows up. Auto switch, okay. All right, so that works right there. All right, so let's see if I can go up here. We can get zoomed in. There we go. All right, so there you can see it's kind of checkerboard looking, and it's done just around what would be the stake bed of the truck, and it's done to give a break it up and give a different look to what would be that wood stake bed instead of the steel body of the truck. It was actually really simple to do, and it adds a lot. Let's see if I can get that picture. There we go. So there you can see it. Whenever you're looking at the side of it, it really breaks it up and distinguishes that wood stake bed from the steel body truck. So how did I do that, and how easy is it to do? So let's jump over to Lightburn, and we'll do a simulated version of that. I'm going to draw out some rectangles here, and let's do one more here. And now let's put some, don't need to do this, but I'm just going to put some radiuses on here. That one's too big, so let's undo that. And that'll be better. There we go. This, of course, is completely a waste of time to do what I want to do, but hey, even for just an instructional piece, we want it to look good. Control to duplicate that. Control D, rather. Control D again to duplicate it one more time. And I'm going to take it only to about there. Now let's select both of these and bring it in to about yay. And now let's weld these together. First, we're going to group those. Weld it. And weld it. All right, so there's the stake bed. Now, how did I create that checkerboard look? If we look at it, that looks like, okay, well, that's just simple horizontal and vertical lines, right? Okay, well, let's go back over to Lightburn. One way that some of you that have been using Lightburn may immediately think of doing it is like, okay, well, I just put a bunch of horizontal and vertical lines in here and cut out that shape and make it work. And that would work, but we're going to do that and show you the amount of work that it takes to do that with this shape. And then I'll show you how I did it. So if you drew a single line, actually we're going to draw we'll draw a single line. Draw a straight line down, say okay. And then I'm going to create just the smallest offset of that. 0.001 and say okay. And delete the original. Yep, that works. And now I'm going to do an array, columns only with a 0.08 scan, and let's see, how many will 50 get me? Not enough, so let's do 100 of them. That works. And say okay. And now I'll do a horizontal line. Select it and do the same offset. It's a 0.001 offset, selecting the resulting objects and deleting the original objects, and say OK. Do another virtual array, but this time in rows with the same 0.08 Y spacing. And how many do I need? 100? Nope. This time I might only need 50. 50 will work. And say OK. Now, I'm going to zoom in here tight, and I'm going to select that, and I'm going to put it on a toolpath temporarily and turn my toolpath off. Select all those arrays and group it all. And now turn my toolpath back on. Hold my shift button and select the toolpath. And then do my Boolean assistant. Don't want that one. That one. And say OK. So now, and if I put that in fill mode, I don't want a fill mode, line mode. Leave it in line mode. Nope, that wasn't the one I wanted. That left an undesired result. So let's zoom out. Undo, go back to Boolean Assistant, Tools, Boolean Assistant. There, we'll try that one and say OK. And I just realized I need to do a duplicate of that. So that, and duplicate that. Now hold my shift key, select that, Tools, Boolean Assistant, and there. And now put that on the black path. Give that the same little bitty offset and say OK. I didn't want to delete the original though, so let's undo that. See all this work, I'm going having back and forth and say, oh yeah, I forgot I didn't want to do that. And let's take this one inward and don't delete, say OK. Now, if we put that on fill mode, there we go. So that would generate something similar to what I showed you. All right, well, something's not closed. Show me. All right. Get rid of that small artifact. Don't know where that came from. But now, preview. Zoom in, and that don't look like what's on the screen. Let's see. Oh, because I don't have had my line interval too much or too low. So now let's see. That's better, but I did too small of an offset, and it's creating some undesired results. But even if I worked with that and played with it, it's a lot of work to make that happen, and that's not how I did it. So let's look at how I did do it. So let's, in fact, we'll just do this. We're going to delete all that, and I'll quickly recreate a stake bed. Put that on the toolpath and do another one. Duplicate it, move it down the road. Let's duplicate this one, move it down a little ways. And let's weld everything together. Now, if I put this in a simple fill mode and I look at my preview, it's just going to fill everything up. I can recreate that desired effect. In fact, this is how I did it. Using a specific layer for the stake bed and put it in fill mode. But I changed my line intervals to do a point. Let's look at a point. I don't think a point one's not going to work. 0.5 maybe, and say okay. Now it didn't look like it changed anything, but let's look at the preview. There we go. We're starting to get some lines. Let's take it up to a 0.9. Now preview. There we go. Alright, well that's just the horizontal. Turn on your crosshatch. Now crosshatch, if you look right here, it's showing you your scan angle. In fact, you can change your scan angle right here. We got scan angle of 0. If I tell it 90, you can see it rotates the scan angle to here. And look at the preview of that. Now my lines are scanning vertically, 90 degrees. Well, if you use the crosshatch, see what happened? Crosshatch is going to do 2 passes, and it's going to do one scan angle at 90 and one scan angle at 0. It's going to be opposing or opposite angles from each other. So we go okay. Now we go look at that preview, and there is that design that I had in the stake bed. And all I had to do was change my line interval, put it in a fill mode, and add a crosshatch. Now, if you want to break it up a little bit more, change your scan angle to something odd. There's 22 degrees. And go look at your preview now. And that actually would have probably been a more effective or better look if I would have done my scan angle that way. See how easy that is? There's no one way to do things in Lightburn. There's multiple ways to achieve the outcome you're looking for. But this is a quick way to create some really unique things. And the offset fill is going to give you an entirely different look. If we can do offset fill, in fact, let's check. Yeah, offset fill will leave the line interval at 0.9. And now take a look at it. And there's your offset fill. That would look pretty good. I liked having the crosshatch though to really kind of break that up. That would give it a unique look. So a crosshatch might be something you want to do. And same thing goes with your line interval on net. If you increase that to a point or a 1.2 and preview, you get something totally different. And your line interval is how many lines, per millimeter? So, or the distance between the lines, I should say. So 0.5 line interval, so half a millimeter between lines, or 50.8 lines per inch, because the 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. So if you're going a half a millimeter between each line, that means you're getting 2 per millimeter, and there's 25.4 times 2, that's 50.8 lines, right? Something like that. We look at that, and now that just tightened it up and give us that look. And that's kind of cool. So you can get some really unique looks with doing an offset fill, or just doing a simple fill and changing your fill to a crosshatch and changing your line intervals to get some interesting outcomes. And you can play with this and try different things and look at it in the preview to see if it's going to give you the look you're after. Then you might try burning a sample on a piece of scrap wood before you start doing it on your actual artwork. So hopefully this answers a few of the questions that have come up since the live stream. How did you do that? How did that work? I didn't quite catch that. Well, we're going to keep this short because the live streams are long. But this is the end result of what I redesigned in the last live stream. And this is my Heart truck. It's the popular little red Ford farm truck. I think it's an old Ford, 53 Ford maybe. But this is a multi-layer design. I've got the fenders cut out and they're raised, and then the tires are cut out, and they are actually, when I designed it, when I cut it out, I cut the tires and the fenders out of the same 4.7 millimeter plywood the truck was cut out of, so it gives it that depth. But on the wheel covers, the hubcaps, I cut them out of 3 millimeter wood so that they are actually recessed inside the tire just like an actual hubcap would be on a pickup truck. I don't know how well that's going to show up on there, but and that's just one little thing that I do to add more character and more distinction to my projects. Little small tips, and there you can see that wood bed there. And this was all painted the same solid red color before I did the laser engraving, but by using different settings on the stake bed and different settings on the lines in the body, different power settings, speed settings, I was able to get a really different look on all of the engravings. Then once it was done, before I put a coat of triple thick on it, I actually took some sandpaper and actually removed and weathered the top edges of the fenders and the hood and the roof line, and stressed the body paint here and there to make it look like it was weathered and worn, like an actual old pickup truck. Then put the finish on it, left my hearts, fully intact in all their glory, no weathering on those, just weathered the truck. But this is on hobowithwood.com. It's available for your download and pleasure and enjoyment now. This is something that can be used year round. It doesn't just have to be for Valentine's Day. Personalize it, but the name on there, like if for me it'd be the Fortner, so it'd be the Fortner Farm. And if I had any kids, you'd put the kids' names in here and make it something that you could enjoy year round. Maybe your grandkids or your granddaughter. Make it Becky's room, and it goes over her bedroom door, and love you, Papa, whatever. So whatever you want to put in there, you could make it something that you could use and enjoy year round. It doesn't just have to be for Valentine's Day. But that is on the website, hobowithwood.com. Did I say that? And along with a bunch of other files. I'm going to keep this short and wrap it up. I want to say thank you to all my patrons. If you want to consider becoming a patron, patreon.com/hobowithwood. The gold patrons get a coupon that's good for 100% off of all the digital files on hobowithwood.com. $20 a month gets you a 100% off on all of the digital files. There's over 100 files on that website now. in addition to the Patreon site where I upload files there that are not even on the website. So there's well over 100 files available to you. You wouldn't have to become a gold, but that's the best deal. $20 a month and you get all the files for free. Silver gets 80% off. Bronze gets 60% off. If you're not sure about it and you think maybe you might would, and if you're buying files on Etsy right now and they're not designed in Lightburn, you are wasting your money and your time. My files are designed in Lightburn. They are designed for laser use. They're not designed in Adobe Illustrator or anything else, Corel or anything that is kind of, sort of, maybe might kind of will work eventually if you get around to jumping through the right hoops with your laser. Mine are laser files designed in Lightburn, ready to go. You just need to set your power and speed settings for your laser. Do not try to count on my settings working for you. You'll need to test and know your laser for the right settings for the files. But the files are going to work flawlessly. So thank you to my patrons for your support. Consider being a patron. Jump over to patreon.com/hobowithwood. I am Steve, Hobo with Wood, and I'm out. I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. Thanks for watching.